For the United States of America, I wish that you would listen to Devin Scott Dicker's song, One Nation. That is the anthem that the world must walk by, exactly as he has written. This is the most important video for people that want the prosperity of my homeland. I am born August 19th, 1961 in Detroit, Michigan, and I live and reside in Windsor, Ontario, the north messenger thereof unto Israel, that they are Chrislam, Isaiah 62:2's new name, and they've inherited all mankind. And this is the most important video you will ever hear about World War III for the United States. My name is Daniel Fletcher Owsley, and unto all people of love, I am now pleading and begging in the name of love for everyone to please try to read my lips, pay a little attention just for a few minutes, because for the love of love, for the furious, rabid, great Soviet, insane Kodiak bear of the King of the North of Daniel 7:5, as prophesied, has finally risen, and he's chewing down hard on the three ribs until he hears the words, "Now you may go eat all the flesh that you would like and consume." Those ribs are Crimea and the two new annexed new Ukrainian independent states that Russia declares. And so this is indisputable in these days that Daniel 11 and 12 has fully manifested. And it has come to pass that the bear, the Soviet bear, who is the king of the north, he has now invaded the king of the south. And if the world will not throw that psychological weapon at the Russians, oh, you got the Antichrist of Daniel 11 and 12. You got the beast of Revelation who's thrown into the pit. That is the psychological warfare that Trump said this nation needs. So I will light the candle of hope, the candle of truth. Take the light, take the flame, and pass it, because Minnie and Mickey are having a vigil over there, because Putin is the dragon who has come, and he is the beast who will be thrown into the pit along with the false prophet. It is indisputable, because it says in verse 6 that that would be a last day prophecy, and these are the latter days. So know that the king of the north has invaded the South Ukraine, exactly as it is foretold in Daniel, and it is foretold he will lose, and he will go back home for a time, times and a half a time, and the war will last a total of 3.5 years. But after about 2 years, all hell is going to work, and there is a way out. Jesus said that unless these days were cut short by the prophecy, by his word, no flesh could be saved. But they can if people will get behind it. If people will not get behind it, we will all perish. So let the wise understand that time is racing now quickly unto Armageddon, which does not have to happen. When Jesus said that time would be cut short, that means a lot of bad things that should happen will not have to happen. But people are so brain dense, and they don't have time for nothing, because they don't feel nothing is important, again, above their own eating and drinking and sitting. It's the only thing important to them. Real shallow people are most. So love from love, hope from hope, and peace from peace unto all deeper people, people that can receive a lot of the ocean of God's adoration that he's pouring out from heaven as he gives the kingdom age covenant over all mankind, pouring out his love upon all flesh, as it is written in these latter days. So please take the light from the torch and pass it, because it is vital to our survival. Please pass this over to the Republicans and to Donald Trump. He will know what to do with this. This needs to be translated into Russian and pumped into prophecy, all World War III prophecy. It must be thrown, lobbed at Russia as if they were the biggest bombs, because it will cut deeper than bombs. It'll hurt their hearts, their souls, and cut down to their very spirits, and reverse our curse as it is written. And so these are the days of Habakkuk 2. This vision was written plainly on the tablet, so all the wheat would run. It's time to run. The tares, the weeds, they won't even look. They won't do nothing. They don't got enough time. I've tried to tell people about something important. I don't have enough time in the day for look at something on TV. But these are the days of Zechariah. He foretold that the days would come when the eyes would consume away in the sockets. 3,000 years before atomic fusion was invented, the tongues would consume away and the flesh would consume away on bodies before the corpses fell to the ash-covered grounds. So the weeds cannot grow together anymore. No more he say who. Obama's the Antichrist. No, it's the guy who has fulfilled the prophecy of Daniel 11 and 12. That is who has done it. And the wheat and the tares. Well, all the pox on all the Antichrist videos here on out. People are so stupid. They can't even see what the Bible has predicted for these latter days, because most people just they're so superficial and shallow. They don't really give a damn about much at all. So know that the ignorant, stupid, and foolish people with the mark of death over them, physical death, as long as they don't commit the unforgivable spirit that sin of blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, because then they would be eternally lost. But we got to be as little children with our life of love, and all loving people would have ears to hear what I'm saying, because this involves the whole world. Russia is threatening Finland, Denmark, and Sweden with nuclear war. Japan is saying now we will be the hosts of nuclear war heads from United States. People of earth, people of my homeland, stand still a little bit and see the salvation of love, and don't be so quick to rush in yet. But understand that all of this is it's disturbing, but people, ignorance is not bliss. If you put your head under the sand like an ostrich, that might as well just become your own grave. Woe unto the proud and to the arrogant and to those that just don't give a flying flip about anything other than themselves eating and shitting and going to sleep, and wasted lives, lives that they're not thriving, they're just surviving because their brain is on their ass and they're sitting on it. And as it was in Noah's day in the beginning, so is it now at the end, that many terrors will never have enough hours in the day to even entertain hearing anything about World War III prophecy. And Rasputin is the most important of it all, because the Russian people will believe because of his accuracy. He was so accurate in many ways, especially about his own death. He named the time, the place, who would die, when they would die, and where they would die, and everything happened exactly as he said. So know that these are the days where ignorant people have ignorance as their warmest cover, and there is no darker darkness than ignorance of love alone. And know that Our Lady of Fatima also said that people are destroyed for their lack of knowledge, as Habakkuk 4:6 declares. So accursed are all fools, not listening really hard at all, for most of them shall be doomed by their own ignorance, and their own ignorance shall become as shovels that will soon be burying their very own families. So in order to save millions of lives, thousands of lives, and billions of lives, people must understand now the lesson of Nineveh. Prophecy was not written to tell the future, but to change it. God said, Nineveh, go tell them that they will be destroyed in 40 days. God relented, and it did not happen. God changed his mind because the people's hearts softened. This is the spiritual weapon that must be thrown at Russia, that they would become the doom of the world if they keep walking to that madman's drums. Rasputin says the most important prophecy of all. He says that beast, that cat of the abomination, that he would chase the rats until they believe in the word of prophecy and God's love, and him saying that he would return his terrifying anger, stop the fast rising great tribulation, because this would be considered in the latter days. It says so. Just like that, this will be considered. It better be in the latter days, Jeremiah 30:24. So try to understand, it is otherwise the purest witchcraft for people to believe that Armageddon is escapable and that World War III is not escapable. It's all escapable. It's all conditional. There are ifs in prophecy. If this happens, that will happen. If this happens, that will happen. If people want time to be cut short so all flesh won't have to perish, that is what would happen. But if they just don't give a flying flib and they're not willing to act or do anything at all, they're going to be just like a bunch of people in Noah's day. Noah built an ark for a bunch of people that didn't want to ride. And if nobody wants to ride with these arks, with the World War III prophecy that this channel is going to endlessly put out, then you guys are insane, because this is the new Tokyo Rose channel. And as it is written in Matthew 24:22, our Lord now says that he has kept his word, cutting time short by sending forth his message unto Russia of their complete, utter death by Rasputin, whom they will believe. I've got several videos all on Rasputin here at this channel, but no one is paying any attention to any of the World War III. Less than a dozen people are looking at any of my videos, and I've been cranking them out for the last week. So this world is just asking to die if they will not obey the Lord. And know that if people will embrace this prophecy, they need to taunt the Russian people, to demoralize them with the truth of this prophecy that is clearly manifested, fully revealing the Antichrist, the biblical one, by prophecy. And he has now stepped forward into the brightest light of truth ablaze. And let everyone who wants the world to survive instead of dying to understand that the Lord's Spirit is telling us that he is going to return his terrifying anger if we will just be loving and do what he's saying. It's time to change. It's time to beat our sword into the sickle and learn the ways of war no more, and to stand still and see the salvation of love. So we stop marching unto the destruction of the valley of Megiddo in a times and a half a time from the start of this. And it is foretold that all of this will change. And but if it does not, if people will not embrace prophecy in order to cut time short through the inspired word of love, then there will be no birds, no fish, no mankind left at all, exactly as Isaiah 24 and Zephaniah 1:1 in particular says straight out. And for this reason, the wheat and the tares can never grow together any longer. The wheat will obey and will act, and the vision has been written for the appointed time so that they will run and they will act. If you do not act, you are just revealing yourself to be a big hypocrite, especially if you're a religious one, because you don't even know what the heck your book even has meant up until now, because of the disclosure that comes so that the wise might shine as the stars. So it's time that these videos better become viral as a result of faith, because ignorance will just kill us all if the message of the preparation of his peace is not kept. God has a big shit pie for all you religious suckers, and he says, I'm going to put it in your faces, because your feasts are rotten, you're loveless, and your love has died, and you are like a dried up plant. And that is the way of prophecy in this world. No one is, they're all apostate, all the Islamics. You have no ground to stand upon, Muhammad said, unless you receive all revelation coming to you from the Lord. People will not even look at it. And if they do, they're going to throw out all the babies with the bathwater, meaning they throw out anything good and all that's bad all at the same time altogether, because they just don't, they're shallow, just really shallow, and their understanding is like a turnip. And no one is obeying Paul concerning prophecy. It must be inspected most carefully, and all that's good embraced. There again, people will not even look at it. I have wasted all of my time in vain. Isaiah 49:4. I wrote 20 years the everlasting gospel in the flying scroll of Zechariah 5 and Revelation 14 to no avail, because no one wants to hear any of it. I've got the most beautiful material on love. Everybody love everybody. Will Ferrell stuff. Just Google that. I've got the Passion of Christ. 48 half-hour stations. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody's watching. Nobody wants to know anything, because I preach that God loves everybody equally, making me the biggest false prophet in the world to shallow, unloving minds. So these are the days to beat our swords into the harvest. And so know that there came to pass that one by the name of Pelagia Zakharaskia in 1966 said that everyone in the future would hate the Russians and would want to get rid of them by all means. And that the elder Joseph in 2009 prophesied the war in which Russia would experience many difficulties, losing at first, but then would come the rebirth if people will fight them with psychological warfare by sending the truth of prophecy unto them to open their eyes so that they can see they are bowing down unto the biblical Antichrist. And know that the Archbishop Theophanes in 1940 also predicted the resurrection of Russia from the dead if they would become the rats who become the mice who eats the cat, if they will have faith and choose to have faith in prophecy, which alone can save us all, because prophecy is the revelation of the Lord's deepest love for all of us. And know that faith in Christ will even become stronger in these last days if people will embrace the word of prophecy, and that the Lord God will bring forth new understandings. And it came about that Theodosius Caucasian in 1948 claimed that for sure when the World War III happened, the whole world would be taking up arms against Russians, but they would be able to withstand it even though they would lose most of their territory. And he would go back to Moscow for a time, but in between there would be still much death and much civil war. And it's prophesied that he will go back unto Ukraine when he leaves, and then he will march towards Armageddon. And the fullness of this vision is a time, times, and a half a time found written in the book of Daniel 12. And so Russia would become even more powerful as they regroup. Strong enemies would reckon with her. So Lavrinsky Chergovanovsky predicted in 1950 the nuclear conflict would be associated with Russia, and their main ally would be Belarus. And that's exactly what is unfolding. The Wallenberg seer, he was a farmer in 1922 from Germany in Brinks. He said that it would be triggered by Russia. Russia. In the mouth of two or three witnesses are the truths of the Lord verified. And so he said it would come from Russia, and everywhere would there be turmoil and destruction. And so he saw that it would be a conflict that would go beyond the Ukrainian borders, far beyond, and that it would become like a bolt of lightning from the blue to wake up people. And after a couple of years go by, it is foretold that he will then march on Germany, and then France and Italy and England. And not only that, it is foretold that the Rhine would be devastated by airplanes and invasion armies, and that the consequences would be great corruption and great famine, hyperinflation, and people would be using the bark of trees and eating grass because the price of food is just and then would come the guillotines and the beheaded bodies that would lead unto Paris and Rome becoming destroyed. And so few people would be alive, so many men would be dead, that 7 women would grab one man. And I think Rasputin, he would have been okay with that. He was like Muhammad, a little bit amorous, let us say. But one thing's for sure, there is no good man, no, not even one. Romans 3:10. I don't care if a turnip received God's word, or the ass from Balaam. I don't care where that word came from, but that word is here, and it is a word to Russia that will pierce their heart, because they will believe Rasputin if anybody gives a damn. So it's time when there can be great hope if we will work towards having our time cut short by prophecy leading the attack of the psychological attack that Donald Trump says we urgently need. And so know that Peter Risberg prophesied in 1918. He saw a time when the whole world would be plowed right under, and this would be at the beginning of the third and the last World War, and everything would be in utter confusion. And he saw a great snake of the war, and the ashes thereof that would never again be like a phoenix arising anew. And he saw that especially England, France, and the USA, America, and this is a word for you, USA, and the name of this is Peter, Pieter Rensburg. He says that America and England will become bankrupt and full of debts. England will be struck by 7 plagues when World War III is at hand. It will be totally annihilated. Poor England, when World War III comes forth, it'll burn away as a Russian-led invasion invades Europe through Turkey using terrible weapons. He says the invasion will be stopped by France and by German-American forces. Yay, USA! Mr. Van Rensburg, he actually made a remark that Germany will receive new groundbreaking technology from America, that the Germans would use to defeat the Russian invasion. But at the end of the day, everybody's going to lose, because at the end of the day, Earth gets her total comeuppance. But until then, the USA, he says, will not be able to respond in a timely manner because of a severe attack on their troops, ground, and their finances. And the universal conflagration would come, the great fiery inferno that would fall all over Europe, and England, burning. Giant catastrophes would come, and people won't even know what's happening. It'll just happen so fast, and many places on the earth will only be just a great cemetery. And then will come the battle of slaughter, where over 1 million people will die, as Rasputin said. And know that I have Rasputin's book, Pious Thoughts, and I am producing all of his materials for Russia here. So this is the anti-Russian prophecy channel that hopefully can be used to cut time short if anybody will ever watch these videos and share them. Everyone is so rude. For the last year and a half, no one comments to me, absolutely, other than just a couple people. And no one watches, no one likes, no one gives a damn, and no one believes the word of God. Jesus said, will there be any faith? I tell you, there's no faith in prophecy. You might as well just rip it off friggin' right out of your Bible if you want to die. So know that he said that the Bavarian land would be devastated in those days of Elijah, the days of the latter day Daniel, who I am, or Daniel 12:13. And the Bohemian Czechoslovakia will be wiped away. And over all these places and over the Bohemian mountains would come the Reds, not the French, but the Reds. And after the Great War, there would be no peace until time finally comes forth. So everybody would have to go into the dens of the rocks, because the air all over would be not breathable, as Rasputin foretold. And the rich and the noble would fight against each other, and people will all, brother, fight against brother. And the world will make not people better, but most bitter and most worse. So it's time to realize that everything shall be wiped off the face of the earth, exactly as Zephaniah 1 says. No birds, no fish, the earth in pieces, Isaiah 24. Nothing but death in front of us, Deuteronomy 18:18. Unless the hearts of the fathers turn to children, total destruction of earth. And that is why Jesus said, unless these days were cut short by prophecy, only if people will embrace and believe the word of God. Otherwise, we're all going down the tube together. And in these days, there is no charity amongst men unless there's vested interest. People are just selfish all over this earth. Religious faith has declined. Shattering of the power of the holy people will happen, because religion is blind to truth. And the truth is, we're all going to sink or swim together. So it's time to arise in the brotherhood of man. For Isa, Yeshua, Jesus, our living word of God, it's time to light that candle, because the truth is, he is love, and he will show us the way how that we can all get along together. So these are the days where we need to turn around and know that the financial collapse of many parts of the world and hyperinflation will come because of the civil war, great misfortune, and it'll be a cycle of blood, hunger, war, disease raining down upon all of mankind. Fire will be seen in the sky like never before, followed by tales of the most fiery sparks that ever blazed away as an inferno of horror all across the European skies. So hear the words of Bavaria's Matthias Stromberger, for he said after the Third World War that it would come to pass that there would be brand new kinds of deadly weapons. That's what Ukraine is having bombed on them now. Thermal bombs that are oxygen depleting, suck the oxygen right out of your lungs. A far worse weapon than the mustard gas. Giant catastrophes. And these are the days when this is happening, and the earth will become a great cemetery. Sky and the earth shall burn, said. And at the beginning of this World War III, just as what is happening, chemical and bacterial weapons will be used. And then the first atomic rockets from the King of the North, the Beast, would be fired shortly thereafter, while the armed forces of the East will move on a wide front towards Western Europe, and battles will even take place in Mongolia. Also, don't forget the word of the Ukrainian seer, Osip Tarelia. At the beginning of the century, that terrible war will bring forth Russia being surrounded by great flashes of fire, hotbeds of destruction will be all around them, as if they were sinking into hell's hottest lake of fire. And the elder Jonah also said that this world war would begin by Russia's neighbor, Ukraine, which is smaller than the Russian Federation, being invaded, as Daniel 11 and 12 said. And this would take place, and after 2 years, then the worst of the military conflict involving the whole world would end, and it will be a big wave that will scatter around the world, he says. And then the new Russian Tsar will begin to rule. And in the book of Daniel, Daniel says it would happen with the fifth Tsar. If you do your homework, Peter the Great was the first with total dictatorial powers. Then came Nicholas and Alexandra, then Stalin, and then Lenin, making Putin the fifth Tsar, because the truth is he has just rigged all the politics of Russia to re-elect himself and give him the right to remain in office for another 15 years of Vlad the Impaler, who has cut this earth a new one. People of the United States, I am a proud American. I take my hat off for thee, and we've had our own civil war. And it's time that we come together as one people, one God, indivisible, all marching together in tune in these days towards the same goal. Tip your hat towards him and grab a hold of the prophecy that he is sending to this channel. And it's time to start taunting this Antichrist and the people of Russia. It needs to be clearly labeled. Hey, this is the guy that's invaded the King of the North, has invaded the King of the South. You got the Antichrist. When that starts ringing around the world, Antichrist, 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 that alone will cut time short, people.